The following is a special presentation.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to WVBC Radio. I'm Dakota Kotsol. This is a very special event. I am joined by the new Bethany College President, Reverend Dr. Tamara Rodenberg. Honestly, I have a little story to tell. When I first met Dr. Rodenberg, she got anyone who's ever listened to me on WVBC or Sister Station BC TV. I have that sense of humor, and she new transfer students were having an event. It was called Casino Night, which is just having some fun. And she came back from Weirton, I believe, and she got my sense of humor. She walks up the tape. So what are you guys playing for? I go, free tuition.
That's true.
So obviously, also I got a little more serious after that, Dr. Rodenberg. When you and I first met, I kind of just asked you how you received the title Reverend Doctor, just because I found it interesting, because I never met anyone like that. Could you share that story with our listeners, please?
Yeah. I got the title Reverend Doctor because I felt a call to ministry when I was young. In fact, I knew that going into high school. So after I graduated from high school, I went to Texas Christian University, did my undergraduate degree in communications and in religion, and then went on to do a divinity degree at Lexington Theological Seminary, and meanwhile with my ecclesial body, which is the Christian Church Disciples of Christ. Went through the preparation for ordination, was ordained, and that's how I got reverend. Served also as a reverend in congregations as a missionary overseas, and then while I was overseas in the Kingdom of Swaziland in southern Africa, working in rural development with women in very far away places trying to do economic development, I realized that I really wanted to know more about theology and economics. And I worked with persons who were considered indigenous and not very well received in what was then and still is the All-African Council of Churches. So I decided that I would get a PhD and I would teach them so that they could graduate with a degree and be recognized by the All-African Council of Churches. So in the process, I found a program, Sight Unseen. So let me just tell you, everyone out there, you can pick your college, Sight Unseen, if you can't visit.
Yeah, also before I move on to the next question with Dr. Rodenberg, we are allowing listeners to question. If you have a question, you can tweet in with the hashtag AskBCPrez, that is hashtag AskBCPrez, or you can even email my Bethany school account as dkotsol@bethanywv.edu. We will ask those towards the end of the show. I do have one already that I got yesterday that will be interesting. It'll be entertaining, not interesting, I should say. Now, Dr. Rodenberg, what would you say the people that recruited you to come to Bethany kind of said to persuade you to actually come here?
The search committee for the new president certainly contacted me and asked if I would be interested. But before that, people who have graduated from Bethany called me individually and personally, asked me to consider coming here. And so I thought, well, that's a call that I need to pay attention to. And when I came to visit, what they said to me is that this is a historic disciple institution, and as I mentioned earlier, I am a reverend in the disciple tradition. That has a real heartstring for me. And also that it is a school with a rich history of excellence, and I want to be associated with and lead an institution of excellence, and that this school has a forward-looking future for it, and that it would like a leader that has a forward-looking sense about being 21st century undergraduate education and graduate education going forward.
Now that you're here, you found they told you to be correct? Like the things you've heard and stuff?
Absolutely, I have found it to be correct. It is a historic institution with a wonderful history. I've talked to a lot of graduates and alums of this institution who love it deeply and say, and I've heard this quoted more than anything else, and that is, Bethany changed my life. That's the kind of institution I want to be aligned with, and I want to make sure that we are producing students who have an experience that transform them and propel them into who they want to be.
Yeah, roads are a little different for you though.
A little different than Texas, I'll admit.
Yeah. Would you say should the students at Bethany expect to see any changes? And if so, what changes? Like what changes and when? Obviously, I apologize. We understand it's a process. It's just not going to happen overnight.
That's right. It is a process. Yes, I would hope we begin to see change happening in systematic ways. Since I've been here, of course, one of the high priorities is facilities. We've been walking around noticing facilities. First thing you're going to see change, of course, signs that are out are going to go back. So want to care for those as a community. We'll start to fix those kind of things. We'll start to fix floors and leaks in places that need attention. But we have a laundry list that will take us a little while, but we will get through it. So you should start to see physical changes right away. You'll also start to hear changes. And that is we're moving into a strategic planning period where the faculty are having deep and rich conversations about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, the SWOT analysis to the institution, and where we're going to go out of that. How does that affect our academic program, and how does that affect our future funding? So lots of seeds are being planted at the moment, and we'll begin to see those come to fruition in the coming years. So you'll see changes, some easily perceivable, and others that are happening even around you and you're not aware of them, systems and functions and things like that.
Obviously, you have a list of changes. Of all the things you just said, what would you say would be maybe more of a priority? Obviously, we wouldn't say number one because you want to get them all. What would you say would be more of a priority to you at the moment? Like just coming in? I
think the highest priority is the facilities issues that, I want us to make sure that we're dealing with facility upgrades where we can.
And then also, you did mention you're engaging in the strategic planning. Would you say will students be a part of the planning process?
Absolutely. Students will have an opportunity. In fact, you haven't heard about this yet, so you hear it here. And that is there will be a plenary session, 2, that will be offered for students to participate in a strategic plan. So also we'll have an opportunity to look at the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So start thinking about that now, what you'd like to share. And that will all go to a drafting team, and 2 students have already confirmed to be on the drafting team. So there will be a student voice on the actual strategic plan as it's written.
Well, that kind of answers the second part of the question, how will students be involved, so.
That's how they'll be involved.
That kind of solved that one for us. But now, it is the real world. Students will always complain about parking, food, the cost of books. What do you see as our new president and a mother of first-year bound college student, which we know your daughter is going to school here soon, as one problem on the Bethany's campus that you can help change? Obviously, students have, you could say they had different issues than obviously a faculty member because we see the school from a different standpoint.
Sure. Certainly books are expensive now. We don't really get to have a lot of input on the price of books, so as much as I'd like to, I think we're sort of stuck with the industry on that one. Parking, I do know that's a problem. Again, we're looking at this will have to be a pavement issue and space issue. It is a priority. It's not the highest priority. Let me just say it will be there.
I understand.
But change I think we can make right away, and I want to be sure that we do, and that's attend to student safety on campus. One of the things that we can do right away is put, for example, emergency blue lights on the campus. We can cut back trees so that lighting is more visible for students who are walking in the evening. I think we can look at places where there are problems in the sidewalk and someone may trip and fall. So real safety issues are things that we can do right away.
And then one kind of last question we had for you, and we do have a couple that did come through over the hashtag again. It's AskBCPrez, AskBCPrez via Twitter or my school email account, which is dkotsol@bethanywv.edu. Obviously, being a president brings pressure. Obviously, this is your first time. Words, as being a president of like a whole institution, I should say, words such as rock star, game changers, and superhero have been used to describe you. Doesn't that kind of put the bar a little high? Obviously, mainly with being the first time as a president. Say that puts it a little high with those words?
I would say that's a little high, yes. A rock star, though, that sounds like great fun. I'd love to be a rock star. But as superhero, that also sounds entertaining and terrific. But I'll try to be human for now and see if we can't bring on some superhero partners that are already there.
Yeah, and the last part of the question we have for you, what would you say, what can we do, like myself, obviously Amber Amslow's in here helping me, do as a student body to help you most this year, obviously in your first year in your transition?
Okay, I have lots of ideas here, but let me just name a few. One, I really am asking the student body to care for and respect the property and the campus Make sure that when we put in a new sign that you take care of the new signs. I also want the students to begin to speak with each other about the history and rich tradition and respect of their degree at Bethany, and start to really own and live into that, and to take care of each other. Students that take care of each other make the campus a much better place to live, and that is each and every individual responsibility on the campus, and to lift your respect in the way that you act and speak and talk to faculty, and just be a campus that truly is a campus of excellence and distinction. That will define us very differently from campuses around us, and will make it the place to be.
And I think the size of our campus actually helps that greatly. So I did get 2 questions. The first one is actually from our camera lady here, Amber Angelo. It's on here. Gotta scroll down my email. She said, recently a local news station reported that college enrollment in our area, so Ohio Valley area we could say, is at an all-time low. Do you have any plans or ideas for helping boost the enrollment at Bethany, since it is a part of the area?
Yes, and this is an actual fact. We need to understand that in many ways the boomer generation has passed through the educational institutions where they hit their highest enrollment amounts, and that is starting to move into the post-boomer generation and the millennials and the Gen Xers and the Gen Zs, and where there aren't as many students in the pipeline. What does that mean for Bethany? That means Bethany needs to be very, very clear about its strategic directions. We are working on that. It needs to begin to think very clearly about marketable degrees that this generation is looking for, and to develop those and make them available with both experience as well as that liberal arts core. Some professional development to go together with a strong liberal arts core. The other thing that we need to do is begin to, as I said earlier, is to define very clearly that Bethany is a very special place to be, and it is different than a community college and different than particularly potential state colleges, but it is this kind of rich tradition that a person is entering when they decide to be a student and matriculate at Bethany.
Okay. Well, the other question we did get from a viewer, I'm going to read the email. This is the one I told you about before it came on the air. I'm going to keep the name anonymous until I read it. It reads exactly. Dakota, I'm very curious to hear Dr. Rodenberg answer this question on your show today. Dr. Rodenberg, I understand you are an international authority on ice cream. Would you consider suspending classes later this spring in order to expound on your expertise on the subject from the balcony of Pendleton Heights while serving your favorite flavors with the student body? Inquisity, John, Heather, and Matthew.
Yeah, I said I know where that came from the minute they said it. John, Heather, and Matthew, for those of you who are listening that don't know, are my family, and I am an expert, let me just say. I have a PhD in ethics and theology, but I am a true expert in ice cream. So would I have an ice cream day? Absolutely, hold me to it.
Well, before we let you go, what's your favorite flavor?
I don't have a favorite flavor, but I do love, right now, I love Java chip coffee ice cream.
Well, we do appreciate that, obviously, with her Dr. Rodenberg's husband sending the email and her children. I had to save that one for last, but again, Dr. Rodenberg, we do appreciate you joining us here today on WVBC. This will also be later, hopefully, on BCTV, for they can be viewed later on our sister station at BCTV. So again, Dr. Rodenberg, we do thank you for joining us this evening. And apparently it's steak night in the caf, so you all should go eat.
That sounds wonderful to me. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you again, Dr. Rodenberg. Again, this is WVBC. I'm Dakota Kotsol. We'll get back to some music here on WVBC.